Well, crime against women and children continues to be a cause for concern in the country. More than 900 women and 352 children were killed. This between October and December of last year, according to the quarterly crime statistics. This despite government's efforts to deal decisively with gender-based violence. Themba Masango is the Secretary General of Non-Governmental Organisation, Not in My Name. And he joins us live now via Zoom, all the way from Pretoria. Mr. Masango, thank you so much for your time and good morning to you. We're talking about what can be done decisively to curb the scourge of GBV. Before we get into those recommendations by the Not in My Name organizations, let's get to why we are here. How did we get to the numbers that we are seeing in this country to a point where GBV is now termed a second pandemic?
Morning, guys, and thank you so much for having us. And indeed, South Africa remains to be the rape capital of the world, and it is one of the countries which have the highest crime rates in the world, and especially violent crimes. And in those violent crimes, you've got femicide, which is 5.1 times higher than anywhere in the world. These are staggering and frightening stats when you think about them, that, you know, in this country, it seems as though, you know, we are at war with women and children. And it seems like, you know, the powers that be, especially the police and the prosecuting authorities, seem to be losing this war. And, you know, it needs a all-hands-on approach. We cannot have a system where we have communities perhaps, you know, saying that these are the drug dealers, these are the people who are actually committing the crimes. And when you find that many times that the police that are supposed to be the ones that are actually arresting are in the pockets of those people. You cannot have a situation.
Yeah, if I may just come in there, Mr. Masango, I mean, I'm sure you've attended many of these court cases as the Not in My Name organization. I've seen various and different representatives in your organization attending GBV cases in court, following through in an attempt to, of course, find justice for the victims and survivors of rape particularly, or even crime. I know you're not a psychologist at the same time, but when you listen to the arguments from perpetrators, what is the war between them and women and children? If the stats are saying that between October and December last year alone, over 1,000 women and children were killed, why is there this war? Why are perpetrators continuing to kill women and children? Because I'm of the belief that as we're having this conversation, there is a woman somewhere in South Africa or a child somewhere in South Africa in this moment that's either been killed or raped.
100%. And, you know, it's consequences to actions in this country many times that you take out of it, that perpetrators know that, you know, 9 out of 10 times they're going to go to court, get bail, be able to go back and terrorize the family. They know that the legal system is very flawed and very corrupt. A lot of brown envelopes get passed through from police to, you know, into magistrate courts. And there is no follow-up many times on cases where the state feels that, look, this is a domestic violence case, it's not so bad, and so on. The perpetrator gets bail, it comes out, and, you know, you get to find out that this person has killed his entire family, like you heard in Soweto last week, where a man actually stabbed his own wife, his 2 kids, missed the other daughter. In Mamelodi, a case that we are currently doing now, a man went and slit the throat of an 8-year-old little girl just because he was having a fight with the mother. And it also seems as though, you know, psychologically, it seems as though, you know, South African guys are almost lost it. And it's almost, you know, to a level of spirituality where you need divine intervention at the moment, where you need psychological intervention. But not only that, we need to get men to understand that, you know, women are not your property. It's not something that you go and buy at a shop like a Coca-Cola drink and dispose of it after you've done with it.
Yeah.
And though we need to go back to the whole socialization of young boys and men coming up to understand, that it's not the way that it is supposed to be done.
Right.
You cannot, want to claim ownership and dictatorship over another human being. And our socialization as a country, culturally, religiously, and otherwise, we need to really look at those things.
In the few seconds I have left with you, Mr. Masango, what's your call to action then to the SAPS and to the Department of Police and Correctional Services? Because you are following through with these cases, you see them firsthand, you see the trauma that it leaves to those left behind, you see the devastation that these causes. Action needs to be taken. What's your call to action?
Venomous sentencing needs to be brought down on perpetrators, to also make sure that would-be perpetrators understand that we are a country that is ruled by law. Police need to take action very fast when cases are reported. They need to understand that theirs is to actually action when crime is brought out. They are not counselors. They shouldn't be trying to say, go and speak to your husband or to your wife and so on. If a crime is reported, they should go out and arrest. And they should also be trained sufficiently in issues of gender-based violence and rape culture, so that people are free to be able to come out and actually talk to them about what is happening in their homes. And moreover, the court system needs to work out faster, especially on slam-dunk cases. We need to make sure that it is venomous, it is quick, and it is decisive.
I appreciate you speaking to us this morning. Thank you so much for your contribution to this conversation. Themba Masango from the Not In My Name organization.